first pick. And Rise immediately being banned out from Solid Supreme. He's pretty tanky mid, good all-around guy.
Yeah.
He's had a little bit of a tweak not too long ago, and the damage output from Rise is always a huge thing.
Yeah, so it should be pretty cool to see how these teams square off. I mean, the issue with M5, and part of why that Rise ban comes in is a lot of teams are playing it now, but they are really known for just playing those uber tanky teams with, great sustained damage late game. And so you're just unkillable throughout the game, and then late, you win all the team fights. So you definitely want to ban out champions like that. Urgot is another one. If Solid Supreme doesn't ban it, then they need to first pick it almost. I mean, he was nerfed a little bit. This is on live.
He's still good.
Draven is available, but he is still a very good champion. Jax being banned, that's another one. We've seen such great play of Jax recently. He's just so unbelievably strong, and to put Jax in the hands of someone like Darien is just signing your own death. So, we'll see what they kind of run. Nautilus and Ahri being banned for M5, definitely really strong overall picks. Give you great shutdown potential and allow you to snowball early.
I mean, Ahri has also been tweaked a little bit with this latest patch as well, but really though, what it does reward is, if you can manage to just start stacking AP. And it really rewards the glass cannon build just a little bit more on Ahri, and her damage output has always been fantastic. But now, just if you decide to go full on all the way, it's just you just get a little bit more of that.
I just love how many champs there are available right now that are just so top tier.
There's
M5 actually banning out Urgot because they expected, all right, Solid Supreme didn't ban him. They're probably going to first pick him. We don't want to allow that to happen, so we'll ban that out. But there's still just such a vast array of champions that are so powerful.
Soraka,
like imagining
Alistar.
M5 picking up TFs at some point in this. I mean, that would be a later pick, but if they go a really aggressive team, we could see a TF. They have playing it. Playing is the new verb. They have played it a number of times. There's just, so many options. Mundo, is a counter jungler. Nocturne is available. We could see a Nocturne pick right here, though I would probably expect it'll be an AD, either Corki or Graves.
Well,
probably
Corki and Graves, or you could also see Soraka or Alistar.
Soraka definitely
I'd actually like an Alistar pick here, because M5, they can wreak havoc with Alistar if they get it.
The issue with Soraka, they also play a lot of Soraka. And, Crepo, he does play, or I'm sorry, Crepo, that's CLGEU. My brain is all addled. Gosu Pepper, he does play a lot of Soraka, and the big thing is when they like running these tanky teams, Soraka really works well with that. Swapping it up for Darius. All right then.
Hold on. Okay, so Darius.
The man of the hour.
So Darius, we saw a little bit of him.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, and I like the way
he must be OP. He must be the most OP champion ever.
I like the way you explain his top lane game, though.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, so why don't you explain it back to me? No, Darius, basically, he loses the lane matchup to almost everyone in the game, and that's always the concern. It's like you're always fighting back against this impending doom as Darius. Not really impending doom, but you're constantly losing lane harass. However, Darius in melee range is one of the strongest champions in the game.
Right.
As you guys all know, once you get in, his W, when you get the hemorrhage stacks with his passive, not only is he dealing a lot of damage, but his W actually drops to a 2-second cooldown because it drops with stacks of his passive. So it's his pull-in range, it's actually 550. And so that puts it, I think it's a little bit less than 550, but I think it actually goes to 550. But that puts it into, close to the range of ADs. And so most ranged champions, they're actually just slightly outside of the range. I think it's probably like 500 or something, because I know they're slightly outside of his range. They can harass him, but if they get just slightly too close, just a hair too close, Darien pulls them in, and then you just can't escape. And so the thing with Darien is he naturally will lose the lane to everyone, basically. But if you get any sort of early advantage, then all of a sudden he turns into just a bruiser, and he is just, so unrelenting in that top lane. He'll, push you around all day, and so you really need to play a safe game against him and just slowly beat him. Because, I mean, really everyone, should beat him. It's just if he gets any early advantage. That's why a lot of times you'll see a gank top when you have Darius on top lane. But we could see a Darius jungle. We have seen that some.
Brother.
And M5 going to be picking the counterpart, Draven. That'll be really fun. We saw Draven yesterday, but unfortunately it didn't work. It was for Millennium. Did they pick Draven?
No, it was an
Absolute
EU.
Legends.
It was, I think it was TGF actually who took
Oh,
it.
you're right. It was TGF. They picked up Draven.
TGF actually first picked Draven yesterday in the NA. Just wanted to try,
They're doing it. Oh, no.
Okay, but here's the thing, like Draven, he did good in the early game, but he has an amazing early game, but he was up against a Corki, I believe. Was he against?
Yeah,
a
he was
Corki?
against Corki.
Yeah, he was up against a Corki in bot lane, and once like level 9, level 10 came around, he just started to lose lane horribly.
I could honestly see Draven though as a pick against someone like Ashe. The issue is the Ashe volley. It outranges everyone, and you know, Draven, his range is shorter than Ashe, so that would be a concern. But I don't know. It really depends. He's a really interesting champ. It'll be fun to see how he progresses. He's a really high skill cap though, and I think the big issue is he's an auto attack champion like Sivir, and you know, just the fact that I don't know, your damage output isn't so phenomenal. When you're catching your axes, it's, you know, out of this world. But in team fights, you can't be catching your axes constantly. And because he doesn't have the same burst as some other champions or the same CC or utility, it kind of holds him back a little bit. But we'll see how he plays. He's, you know, definitely an all-around fun champion. We are seeing that Cog pick, a very common pick for a team like M5 that likes to run those tanky upfront teams. And Cog and Morgana is almost an unstoppable comp when you run it. Not only do they have Cog and Morgana, they also have Shen for the ultimate. So Cog is going to be almost unkillable in that backline, and he easily outranges Draven. So as Cog, you do have to worry if Draven gets something like Yumu's for the movement speed, but you know, Cog should be safe because of his range advantage.
I do. I hope this is a Jarvan pick into jungle, but you know, Jarvan would be fantastic just trying to zoom in toward. I want to say that's a proxy pick. If
It's a proxy pick. We'll say it's a proxy pick. So we'll find out what they're playing. I'm assuming that they're chatting it up with M5. If not, then at the very least, M5 will get to choose their last champion, depending on what the Evelynn pick is.
We're gonna find out real quick in a second who the Eve actually is. Let's see here. Nocturne. Eve. Okay, so that Eve pick is actually going to be a Nocturne pick, their last pick. They just
Alex Itch was like in the chat, Evelynn is Evelynn? And yeah, so Eve is going to be Nocturne, just a really strong pick. And the Nocturne Ashe combo, it really makes a lot of sense. So Darius is going to be top. You know, which will be interesting. We talked about that top lane matchup a little bit. Shen versus Draven. Shen definitely has the advantage early. The concern is that Draven has so much sticking power that, you know, if he starts fighting Shen, maybe chases him down, you know, Shen can't get away. But Shen does have the taunt. He should be fine. Yep. And so what should really happen in this lane is Shen just right off the bat starts just constantly spamming Q harass onto Draven or Darius. You know, they're brothers. They keep getting me mixed up. Shen will spam that Q harass onto Darius, and then whenever Darius comes in for a CS, Shen just walks up and slaps him in the face, you know, takes a step back himself, wait until after the pull has been used, and then uses taunt. And so very quickly, he's going to, you know, exchange damage very easily with Darius and be able to control that lane. So it should be pretty cool. Yep. You know, M5's team, honestly, is really strong, and it's the kind of team that they like to run. It's going to be a strong early game team. It's very defensive. It's tough to, you know, get any advantages against them, and then late game it is going to be a team that is almost unstoppable. However, we do have the Nocturne and Ashe combo. We do have a lot of, you know, snowball potential in this team, so it's a really aggressive team. If Darius does well in the top lane, and if Nocturne and Ashe can get some kills bottom, that could be it. And we do have the Soraka, I believe. Did M5 get Soraka?
Soraka is on M5.
Oh, dear God. They have Soraka. That's just, like, unfair.
That's dirty.
But, so we have, I mean, that's the issue, is M5, they like going these tanky teams. They like the Soraka pick. They like going things like Kog'Maw. We have a physical damage team. And so Nocturne, Ashe, Darius, it's all physical damage. What do we have to counteract the physical damage? We have the armor from Soraka. We have these tanks, these frontline tanks to, you know, support them in the back, so you can't get to the Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw is going to tear you up late game. And then even worse, we have the Malphite counter pick in the jungle. And Malphite versus Ashe is just such a strong pick. Ashe doesn't have that mobility. You ult in. You know, not only are you protecting Kog'Maw, and they're, you know, the whole team is going to be like, scatter, it's Malphite.
Get out of
here.
You
know, what's going on? They're burning the villages and, you know, pillaging and whatnot. But then, you know, Kog'Maw is going to be sitting in the background. Genja is going to be perfectly fine to just destroy them. And having that Malphite pick in the jungle is such a strong pick, you know, for team fights. And they really are looking for team fight potential. But the early game should be to the advantage of Salad Supreme if they can get, you know, Nocturne in on some ganks and try and snowball him a little bit. Janna and Ashe is always a really strong team because of the kiting potential. Actually, you know, now that I think about it, the Malphite pick is a fun pick, but Janna's Whirlwind stops Malphite's ult, which is, it's weird because it's called Unstoppable Force.
Like, yeah, it's stopped by the wind.
Yeah, it's his ult should just be like, hey, it happened, it's done. But Janna's Whirlwind actually stops Malphite's ult. So if they're safe in that regards, they can kind of deny that initiation. And then we have, a lot of initiation presence for Salad Supreme, and that's what they're going to hang their hat on. They want to get those Ashe arrows, see if they can pick someone off, and see if I would love to see them swap it up for a Vayne top. That'd be cool.
That would be quite against
Vayne
the
top
rules.
would crush Darius.
That'd be quite against the rules at this point, though. The
yeah,
picks
it
have
would
already
be.
been made.
Particularly since that was their first pick. But
right. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But still,
there we go. Actually, Shen in the jungle,
a
little bit better decision. So will be exciting. We have seen a lot of Shen jungle recently. Shen, he has that counter ganking potential against Nocturne. Basically, Shen is slower than Nocturne. He's going to fall behind naturally from Nocturne jungling. However, what he wants to do is when he wants to just kind of focus on a lane, and if Nocturne ganks another lane, you teleport in. All of a sudden, you win the fight because you're Shen, and so that potential is really nice. And then Shen does scale very well as far as being a tank into late game. He can just be unkillable. And so it's going to be Malphite top versus Darius, which is actually a really interesting matchup as well.
Not to mention also when you see those later team fights, if Nocturne or even like Ashe Arrow just comes in just gets the great initiation that they need onto the Kog'Maw, you have Morgana shield, you've got Shen shield, you've got Soraka heal, and it's a pretty big, once it starts hitting a late game, it's just gonna, everything's gonna morph into a nice little protect the Kog'Maw comp. And, and Kog'Maw fed late game is pretty effing dangerous.
Yeah.
So he just goes ahead, get the artillery shots, everything you need, just go ahead, poke away at, Salad Supreme for just all day. You can just go ahead and sit back and do that all day, push them back and grab objectives.
Yeah, and when we have the initiation with Malphite and with Morgana, very quickly they have a lot of capabilities of winning the team fights. Cassiopeia as well, will be pretty nice for winning team fights. However, the issue is that Cassiopeia, you usually want to pick her against heavy melee teams, and I think they picked her expecting M5 to run a couple. And it didn't really happen. Cassiopeia is really great for picking people off. You have the Ashe Arrow into the Cassiopeia ult very quickly. You have so much burst damage. I mean, Cassiopeia is phenomenal for that. They will have the advantage for Dragon as well. So because Ashe and Janna, is a little bit stronger, more aggressive than Kog and Soraka early, and then Nocturne and Cassiopeia are so strong at Dragon, we're going to see a really quick Dragon for them. Most likely, they'll probably prioritize it. It's not going to be quick, but it'll probably be around 9 minutes once Nocturne has a Madred's, not even finishing the Wriggles. Well,
I think the pick is more to attempt to shut down the mid.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because Morgana's just a safe farmer overall, and if there's so much pressure coming in from the Cassiopeia, it's going to shut her down a little bit, put her a little bit more behind. And that's the thing, though. Morgana later on in the game is going to be one of those frontline champs. It's going to be Morgana and Shen out in the front, looking for the taunt, looking for the Morgana ult, trying to fish out the stuns and finish off Salad Supreme. But if you can manage to deny farm to either Morgana or onto Shen, that's going to make the front line that much weaker as you head in the mid and late game.
And the big thing is Cassiopeia does win the lane against Morgana, but Morgana generally is a safe lane. She can farm against almost anyone.
Right.
But if we see any zoning harass, that'll be nice. And the nice thing about having that Cassiopeia pick is their early game fights are going to be so strong that they can kind of try and bully around M5. And Blue Buff and Dragon in particular, we could see at around that 7:15 mark, Salad Supreme trying to steal that blue buff and counter jungle M5 a little bit, prevent it from getting onto Morgana, because they do have a stronger little early fight team when they're all grouped up. And then the issue there is if they steal that blue buff, Cassiopeia can just push Morgana into the tower all day and then roam. And Cassiopeia can push a little bit faster than Morgana. Morgana's a really strong pusher as well, but if they deny the blue buff, that'll allow Cassiopeia to push the lane, roam, try and pick up early kills, and that's what they're going to be looking for. But
yeah,
a lot of it's going to be come down to how well Darius can do in this game.
Yep, and then Darius, he's going to be in top lane. He's going to be against the Malphite. Malphite does have the passive shield on him, so it's going to help mitigate a good chunk of that damage. But even then, grab a Ninja Tabby real quick should actually be okay.
Yeah, Malphite is actually a really strong pick against Darius. And Malphite, he works best in the top lane against physical damage dealers who are really auto-attack oriented, so champions like Jax, Darius. And you can really, it's tough to shut them down, but he can deny some of their farm. And the big thing is that Malphite's not going to be giving up any early kills, or I would at least hope
I hope
not.
so. Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, and so the thing is, Malphite just naturally, you build cloth armor, and not only do you get damage mitigation, but you're also getting damage with your E. And so it's just so easy for him to build. A lot of champions, you go in the top lane, you're like, oh, I want to get a quick ninja tabby, I want to buy a lot of armor, but now I don't have the damage to sustain in these fights. Well, Malphite doesn't have to worry about that. You have your E for the attack speed, slow, and damage, and basically against a melee champion like Darius, you just walk up and farm. When they come into range and start fighting you, you fight them head on. And it's weird. It's counterintuitive because Darius is a champion that you're usually like, I can't fight head on. He's just so strong in that melee range. But Malphite, you walk up to him, and it's difficult to play Malphite. He's an unusual champion, but you throw off your Q to slow him. You E, and then you repeatedly chase him down. And so first off, Darius, he'll break the shield, but then because of the attack speed slow from the E, he's actually not getting on as much damage as he normally would. And so the dot from Darius is still going to be strong against Malphite. Dots generally are really strong against Malphite.
Yeah.
But Malphite will should win the damage exchanges front up, and then when Malphite gets his ultimate, it gives him a little bit more killing potential. But we will have to watch out for the Nocturne, engage up there. And Nocturne going to be a little bit more aggressive than Shen will be. I wouldn't be surprised to see Nocturne start down at red and then make his way up to blue. And the benefit of starting red is that at 330, you'll be top lane with double buff with level 3 when top lane is only just now turning level 2. So you have a level advantage and the double buff, and that would open up ganks against Darien. Try and get Darius into an early advantage, which is something you really want to do. Get him off on a good start, because once he starts, he snowballs really quickly.
Everyone now getting into position. A lot of pings actually going down from Salad Supreme. I think they're just going to go ahead and set up a point defense here at their own jungle. Just try and make sure that they just do not get invaded. They want to go ahead and secure their initial buffs. They're not looking to engage here because Morgana, if you land the stun on her, it could mean pure disaster. You stun followed up by Shen Taunt. They just don't want to have to deal with that at this point. Right now, M5 has the better level 1 fight team by far. But actually, both teams are actually going to sit on the defensive, almost pretty much a carbon copy.
Yeah, neither team really has the most unstoppable level 1. Both teams have strong level 1s,
right?
But not like the greatest thing ever. And so it'd be kind of a risky thing. M5, they want to go to late game, so they're not going to fight. Salad Supreme, they want to go to mid game. They know, early game to mid game, they can have some advantages. So if they lose any early kills to M5, all of a sudden it's over. So both teams comfortable with sitting back.
Some funky moves going on this morning. He's active. It's still morning here.
How loose is your goose, Malphite? He's good. Good to go.
But also the ward coming in through the wall too. Good play actually from the Janna, just to make sure and spot out, because if you smart cast a ward through an area which may not usually be warded, it'll just go through and finish through the wall, very much like a flash would.
Yeah, that's actually a kind of a tough spot to hit, but if you practice it, you can hit it. That one and the dragon one, there's another one over there. There's some really common walls that people hit all the time.
Yeah,
but
I actually like
walls,
to get this wall myself. Just
every time mid, you just drop it over that wall. It's the safest wall. But it's a pretty cool trick, and so it will protect top lane. We do see Diamond Prox. He's starting off with the red, so red, we could see a quick level 2 gank against Darius top, and that would just be devastating. And not only that, but Genja and Gosu Pepper, they took the wolves up here, so the golems going down to Ashe and Janna, because they know they don't have a strong, M5 knows they don't have a strong level 1, they weren't able to invade and stop those golems from going off, and we had the ward from Janna to protect herself. But as a result, they're able to take their own wolves, keep themselves in that game, and just be really safe there.
Yep. Darien top is just immediately comes in with the shard onto Darius, wants to get the early harass as much as possible, but here's the problem with Malphite in that. He's thrown off 2 shards, half mana already. He's not even level 2, he's already half mana.
But, I mean, you want to burn some early mana. Once you level up, you're going to get a decent amount back.
Right.
And I'm assuming with Malphite, you're generally going to run some sort of mana regen for runes or masteries, and so he will be fine. And then also, a lot of it is you just want early control to get back to that, first level. And right now, Malphite's at a disadvantage against Darius. Darius is actually stronger than him level 1 because Malphite has to get into that melee range, and then Darius will chase him down before Malphite is able to get both his slow and his E. So Malphite needs to play defensively right now. Just sit back, be able to farm until that mid-game. But actually, we see Shen coming through the enemy jungle, and he's going to be coming up right behind this bottom lane. This is going to be a really aggressive gank. And they see him, but they're actually too late. We'll see if Ashe can position herself for the flash.
Kog'Maw with the slow, trying to keep the team split, and Ashe is just way too far caught. There is the a taunt. Even after the flash, still manages to get it. The Vorpal Blade, just one auto attack. The shield from Janet actually protecting her just for a little while longer, but Kog'Maw with the auto attack will actually still get it.
Yeah, really nice play by Shen there, tanking the tower for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, he did take a decent amount of damage, but he knew, all right.
He got the kill.
We have the shield. We have one more hit. Let me, you know, just tank this, and we're going to be fine. You see Darius kind of bullying around Malphite for a little bit, which is, you know, to be expected in the early levels. But once Malphite gets a couple of levels, he can, you know, start exchanging very well head-to-head with Darius. And we'll see. A lot of it's going to come down to once he can go back and get that cloth armor.
Actually, Nocturne's actually wandering up top lane as well, trying to make something happen on Malphite. Now, he just for some reason just walks right too far to try and get the auto attack. There is the Q, there is the fear, and the pull from Darius to keep him in place. There is the ignite. Nice, quick kill. That pull.
Perfectly timed the pull. You know, Darien, he's going to want to get off the flash and just not giving him an opportunity to. So really nice play there. And there, actually, you're seeing Janna and Ashe bullying around Kog'Maw, and that's the benefit of that volley. They're actually chasing him down and very close to picking up this kill. We do have the heal going off, so they will be fine. We'll be able to get out of there. But the big thing is Ashe has the volley range, and Kog'Maw, I think a lot of people forget, his auto attack range when his W is down is only 500. And so that is much shorter than Ashe. Ashe is 600.
Is coming down, wandering around bot again. Last time he was here, did not get an assist, did not get any contribution to that last kill, but there's the minion wave just in time to block the bind. Realizes it's not the best thing in the world to try and go for the bind when there's a nice wall of minions.
Yeah, kind of a little bit surprising that he mistimed that.
Yeah. So he's left mid twice now to try and go for a gank bot and got nothing. You know, there was a kill, but he did not get an assist, and second time around just got nothing. And I think Alex knows that he's not in the best position in mid, so he's actually wandering really early to try and catch up. But the more he does this, if he's not connecting with anything, Cassiopeia is just going to go ahead and start to spiral out.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that works out. But Morgana, you know, he is pushing the mid before he's leaving, so that is the benefit. Is when you get an early push, you can leave. Right now, you know, it is a very even lane, so he's perfectly fine with that. Darius, very nice, doing very nice in this top lane. So, you know, he is able to farm very successfully against Malphite right now. We'll see if that kind of starts to transition as Malphite gets some items and whatnot. But Darius is way ahead right now.
Yep.
You know, he has that massive wave. He's, you know, has the kill.
And, you know, good job
Nocturne coming in again and isn't actually spotted by this ward until
there
just now.
Darien, he knows he's in quite a bit of trouble. The pull coming in from very nice. The Q, and Darien knows he's in a lot of trouble. That's the best option, is actually run it towards the turret and through flash into the jungle.
A really strong escape by Darien, getting himself out of there.
Can he back in time, though? That's the thing. Nocturne, he should have a good idea where he is. Got the vision. He sees him now. Whoa!
Oh, very close.
Wow. That was close. But Alex is now once again coming down bot lane. And
so
the minions.
Weird.
That's got to be so frustrating for him.
I mean, I don't know. I think his timing is just slightly off, and it's weird that Alex isn't hitting those timings appropriately. So if he gets there right behind the minion, he has the opportunity for a snare, but they're able to sit right back there. They are very low, and so very quickly he could get those kills. I mean, he could almost just flash and ult them for the kills, but you know, right now we're seeing the power of Soraka, and Soraka with the regen, even though we had an early advantage for Janna and Ashe, very quickly Soraka is able to heal them back up and then just completely dominate this lane with the regen. And Soraka is just so strong in the bottom lane.
She's doing a fair amount of harass too. Just, you know, keep on throwing the bananas whenever you get an opportunity. Like, I'm out in front. Kog'Maw's just farm and just might as well. It's free. It's free damage. But Nocturne's here. He's going to show himself.
He's really just there to hold the lane for them.
And
because
here comes Alex once again. This is just attempt like number 3, number 4 to try and make something happen. Trying to get hungry. Probably going to go for a flash ult over the wall. But Nocturne is here. There's the bind.
Just barely not able to get it.
But Cassiopeia now knows, like, we know you're not in the best position.
He's a little bit low on mana. He doesn't have enough for his ultimate.
Has to flash over the wall. Has to flash. There's no other option. You would have been pinched. You would have been dead. But yeah, Alex is not really getting anything on leaving mid lane. Was it 44 to 47? Cassiopeia, I mean, you know, Toya's not getting, you know, the most out of the farm, but still, though, this is a lot of times just not in lane. Period. You're still losing out on like passive experience.
Oh, a couple more attacks.
One more attack, baiting out the heal, the exhaust going down onto Genja, the volley. One more attack, and that will do it, and will not be able to reach the Ashe in time.
Yeah, really nice bait by Salad Supreme. So taking an early advantage against M5. Darien almost going down against Darius, and so not able to get himself started in this lane. You know, that's the issue, is Darius very quickly can take any sort of early advantage and abuse you. And Malphite, because he has to get into melee range, he's naturally going to be vulnerable, you know, to that harass if Darius gets an early advantage. Normally, Malphite, I would think, would do pretty well in that lane, but Darius, with his passive, is just way too powerful for him right now, and with the early gold advantage, and he's
pretty hefty.
He's completely zoning out Darien now. I mean, Darien is farming okay, but he's so far behind. He's 20 CS behind, the kill behind at this point, and so it's going to be interesting to see how, you know, Darius works in these fights. But another concern for Darius is the fact that in team fights, he's a snowball champion. You need to pick up kills really quickly. And so we have the kill potential of Cassiopeia. That's awesome. Like, we have a lot of burst, and you need that. You need burst to couple with Darius. However, we have a lot of tanks and Soraka for M5. And so if Darius isn't able to get a quick kill onto a squishy target, then very quickly he's just going to be sitting there wasting his time attacking someone like Malphite, who's going to be building, you know, Frozen Heart later, and it's going to, you know, really limit Darius's damage capabilities. He's just not going to have enough damage in order to, you know, control fights. Like, compared with a number of other bruisers, his damage is actually pretty low if you can't burst someone down with that ultimate, and so he might have to sit on that ability for a little bit, and, you know, I don't know, it'll be tough for him.
Not to mention, in order to maximize his damage, he needs to actually stick around and stay in the team fights as long as possible. If you just fire off the ult just blindly on, you know, just right, if you enter a team fight just doing the ult, you're not getting the maximum amount of damage that you're going to need to. And there is the arrow bot lane going in on Genja. There is the heal from Soraka, but the Nocturne ult will also follow it up. There is the Fear, the Bug in the middle of the lane, caught out a little bit. He's got no hope for himself right there. And, you know, this is exactly
he
what
might as well just farm those minions.
He might as well.
Oh, he gets only one of them. But that's the issue.
This is what Salad Supreme needs to do.
Shen is coming top as well, so we did see the gank bottom, but there's no ward top, so Darius is actually going to be caught out. We have the Malphite ultimate if we get the taunt, so there's the taunt. We're going to follow it up with Malphite if he can just get in range, and he does have it caught off. He should have it right now any second. We have the ignite. There it is, the Malphite ultimate, and so Very Nice is going to go down.
Nice, very, very nice. So, you know, here's the thing now. M5 realizes, you know, they have a lot of ganks top and ganks bot can both, you know, they're both pretty good targets for Shen. They want to go ahead and focus down Very Nice. He's winning the lane right, you know, for the moment. They want to try and send him back as far as possible. But Salad also recognizing, you know, top lane, Malphite, I mean, he's gankable, but he's a little bit rough. Morgana, forget it, not even going to bother. And right now, Alex, you know, with the wandering away from mid, is actually just naturally going to put himself behind if he can't get what he wants. Nocturne realizes Devo has to go down bot, gank as much as possible, and try and deny the Kog'Maw before it gets to mid to late game, before it gets ridiculous.
Yeah, and that is the thing, is that, you know, M5, they have so much fight control when the fights start happening. We have, you know, a team that we need to, you know, see pick-off champions for Salad Supreme. And so Salad Supreme, they want to grab those. Oh, the snare, and actually Alex Itch getting away from that ult.
Morgana puts up the shield, gets away from the ult, and Toya will just go down immediately. Nice shield from Alex. A wonderful shield, wonderfully timed shield.
And it should be interesting to see how Salad Supreme can try and keep up this advantage. One thing that's kind of curious is the fact that Nocturne, he's actually not going for Wriggles or Dorans. Those are two, you know, really common builds. He's starting off with the Gold Pretend, getting the Heart of Gold, so that'll help him with farming a little bit, but it slows down his jungle a little bit, and you need to maximize your jungling speed against Shen. And not only that, but it also means that they're not able to pressure an early dragon like you would normally think they would with Nocturne and Cassiopeia. So, you know, not getting that early gold advantage. A lot of teams, you know, kind of shy away from Dragon right now. It's not the end-all, be-all, but even so, it's kind of disappointing. And we're starting to see, actually, now Darien doing a decent job against Darius. Darius still can kind of zone him because of, you know, his nice melee, but at Malphite, you want to get that slow harass, just slowly wear you down. And now M5 is actually going for this dragon. And not only that, but Morgana is trying to zone them, but throw off the shield, flash over the wall, just barely getting away from that, you know, damage from Cassiopeia. Will be coming right back into him, and so they have to back off, actually, because Cassiopeia and Nocturne are zoning them out right here. We have the snare. Shen will back off of that dragon, so dragon averted, but he is coming down to this bottom lane. He does have the oracles, so he can keep a nice eye on the ward coverage on map control. Yep,
dragon is still up. No one's gotten it quite yet, but it's a little bit of a hairy situation for Diamond Prox to even try and engage on it. Knows Nocturne's nearby. Knows Nocturne's not going to be going anywhere soon. but pings are going down from M5. It's probably just estimations of where they think Nocturne may be. They're not. They're actually pretty accurate, not too far off. But he is wandering down to bot lane once again. But still, the Shen flash taunt in the mid lane. This time the ult actually grabs Alex, but it's a little bit of a 2v1 situation.
In the meantime, Nocturne bottom does get the fear off onto Genja, and they are chasing. And actually, Shen with the teleport in. This is going to turn around really quickly. We have the taunt onto Janna actually, but they are all very low. Gosu Pepper is the lowest, but he will have the heal. And actually, Ashe needs to back out of there. Genja going to try and chase them down along with Diamond Prox. If we get this ult, the taunt once again, and now Valinor, Janna should be going down. One more attack, actually can't, but the fear underneath the tower, they get Diamond Prox just barely, will have to back off, but now Morgana is coming around the backside, will come in very aggressively, does not get the bind, so very quickly.
Wow.
But they will have to back off, so that was, you know, almost going just so negative for either team. And actually M5, they could get Dragon off of this.
They could.
You know, they're actually not going to, so that's kind of surprising. I know they're all low, they're concerned about Cassiopeia coming in and, you know, disrupting the party, but Shen got the early Madreds, so, you know, he has the gold per 10 and the Madreds. That means that, you know, his jungling speed is actually right on par with Nocturne's right now, and they have the quick clearing speed for the Dragons, so a little bit surprised they didn't pressure that, but that's fine. They want to just sit back and farm. They don't want to risk anything. They were all low.
I got to give credit, though. That was a money Janna ult to clear everyone away. That is exactly what they needed to go ahead and clear the distance and get them out of that fight. But also, you guys see Morgana, you see in comparison to Cassiopeia right now, 2-level advantage for Alex Ich now after those 2 kills, after the kill, after the assist on the Cassiopeia in mid, now taking full control of mid. And also, just, you know, noticing just now, look at Malphite going actually straight AP. You would no Ninja Tabi going straight for Stork Shoes.
It's actually a pretty common Malphite build, and so he's not necessarily going AP Malphite. Like, I mean, we could see an AP Malphite. That would be cool. I mean,
yeah, like
I would like
done it before.
And the nice thing with AP Malphite is we already have some nice physical damage. It gives them a little bit of burst. Malphite scaling is actually really nice on AP, but what you normally get those, we'll see if Darien can actually chase him down, or Berry Nice can chase him down. Does have the Ignite. With the passive, it's actually really close to taking him down, and he just barely survives the one last tick, getting down to like 5 health.
10 health.
So Darien just barely surviving in that lane. The thing with the Dorans, it's actually a really common build for Malphite early on. You get the health, and his actually starting, his base HP is pretty low, and his passive, his shield is based on a percentage of his HP. So getting early health helps you so much, but we do have Shen coming down here. He does have the oracles, so they will want to back off a little bit, throw off that hawk shot. So not only does he get the health, it gives him the mana regen for spamming his Q, and then he knows, I want my Q to be a little bit stronger, affect Darius a little bit more, so I have that benefit, but he is sitting top lane still. He has that shield, but if he just barely gets in range of the Darius bind, very quickly he could go down, or if we have the Nocturne ult and just dive Darien, that's definitely an issue, but he should be able to get out of there.
Yeah, but I'm wondering why he actually didn't back so much, so much further away. I know he wants to go ahead and clear the wave, but really at this point, though, Berry Nice should be able to take down top tower pretty convincingly if M5 decides to just leave it. I mean, Dominant Prox is going to be coming up to try and defend as best he can, but if Berry Nice could just go ahead and stick with it, but no, he'll just go ahead, play it safe, back off for now. But still the bot lane, the Tornado coming down onto Genja, trying to just keep him away from the Ashe. And Soraka is actually just getting right in the middle of everything, auto attacks onto Janna. Why not? You're in the bush, it's going to be free damage. Might as well do it.
And it is interesting that Malphite didn't go with those Ninja Tabbies, instead with the Sork Shoes. Once that damage, so he's kind of turning himself into a ranged champion. We do have Shen coming up top, though, but he is spotted by that ward. He will just clear it out. So they ping him off. Darius is already recalling, so he's going to be fine.
Yep.
But instead of trying to face Darius 1v1 in that melee range, which is normally what you see Malphite do against those kind of champions, he's kind of scared of Darius's damage now. And actually, Shen with the dash very secretly can get over there. Now he walks into the ward, so he will be able to clear it out. But really nice job by Diamond Prox. He's easily recouped his losses by just all of the wards he's been able to pick up. And not only did he get all of those wards with the early oracles, but he has the gold per 10 and the Madred. So his clearing speed is actually really nice. It has been for some time, and he's done a really excellent job against this Nocturne.
But Darien actually getting pretty aggressive, scouting out to see if the blue is there. It is not, but got a little bit of vision.
The flash
on the
from
wolves.
Cass, just barely able to get out of that bind.
Yeah.
And I think they were trying to pinch Cass if they engage.
Malphite's still here though, and Devo's actually going to get a little bit caught out, putting up the spell shield just a little bit too late, but just want to make sure you do not get ulted in that situation. But Shen actually now wandering down knows Cassiopeia and Nocturne are not in the best of shape.
And the big thing is Genja just destroyed Ashe bottom, and so Ashe is so low they can't defend it. You know, their team fighting isn't there right now. So M5 will be able to take this. Very nice grabbing that top turret though. So really nice play by him.
And so the team fighting is not there right now. When will it now be there?
Well, it's there if they're high health. It's just the fact that Ashe isn't available. But the Ashe arrow is coming in. Who's it going to hit? It hits onto Genja. We'll see if they come in here. It's probably not the best decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still going to be a free dragon. Kind of exciting, but honestly, there was really
it's an arrow.
It's an arrow, but there was no opportunity for them to engage because you're missing out on Ashe. You know, Darius was nice for the most part. He did come down late, but we'll see. He's actually trying to get a pull onto Morgana. We'll have to back off.
Now, does Morgana shield, does that prevent the pull?
Yes, it'll prevent the pull, but it won't prevent the rest of his damage. So his W will actually slow through the Morgana pull. I'm fairly certain on that. I'm not positive. It'll probably slow through the W, and then also his Q will deal damage through the shield, and his ult. I'm not sure on his ult. His ult may or may not. I think it will
it's true
go
damage.
through. I know it's true damage, but I'm saying I think it will go through the ult, but I'm not positive on that thing. And so Darius, you know, just doing really nice so far. We'll go with that kind of tanky build with the Hex Tech. We do know they've got a lot of magic damage. He has to deal with that harass, but Shen coming up in the top lane will be able to drop another ward. So not going to have a gank, but getting another ward, hey, you know, it's always a nice thing.
And wards are always a good thing. But Nocturne is also not too far away from top. But Shen ult going down. Alex Ich coming around through the back. There's the Nocturne ult. He's actually going to go ahead and try and engage top while all of M5 is pretty much down here on bot. And four-man push bot lane. They can go ahead and just take the tower outright if they want. And, well, Diamond Prox is here. Might as well go ahead and clear some more wards. Hey, you missed one.
Yeah.
You missed one.
So even though at this point in the game, the initiation is in favor of Salad Supreme, the team fighting, you know, damage it's pretty even, but it's possibly in favor of Salad Supreme because M5 is just being so aggressive and using that global for Shen so effectively. They can, you know, take these kind of advantages. And so the big thing is that Cog is allowed to farm. So Cog, you know, will be getting quick damage. We do see Darius trying to be really aggressive once again, gets the pull, and it's actually going to take him down pretty low along with that Ignite. We could see the ultimate, but just barely not enough. He actually flashes in for it. There it is. But now, unfortunately, the bind, and he's just out of turret range, but he is almost certainly going to go down. The Hex Tech does go, but there is the taunt chasing him down. He does just throw off the ultimate just for the hell of it. And actually, Cassiopeia and Nocturne are here as well. We get the fear onto Shen and the Cassiopeia ult, and very quickly they are going down, but Nocturne is binded underneath that tower, is bound underneath that tower. They do pick up the Shen, and now Morgana is there as well, but they weren't able to grab it. But still, a benefit for South Supreme. They get a 2-for-1 deal.
And it looked pretty hairy there for a second, but it was like everyone just, you know, slowly filtering on in. And Morgana ult was not up, so it was a good choice. It was a good option to go ahead and engage on that. But Ashe the entire time is pushing down mid. Kog'Maw actually farming, Ashe bot, Kog'Maw farming mid. Waiting for Alex to go ahead and catch up. Just going to go ahead and farm the Wraiths real quick as well. Quick blue onto Cassiopeia, going back into mid. And there's now I'm looking. I want to see actually the farm here between the Kog'Maw and between the Ashe, because Kog'Maw has now actually taken a bit of a gold lead here. Yeah,
no, he has out CS'd Ashe and has a couple of kills. So the big thing is that it's interesting. Ashe is so dependent on getting those quick AD items, and Ashe is actually about 600 gold off of finishing Infinity Edge, so it's kind of a late Infinity Edge. You want to get that as early as possible, so she's doing okay, but not great, and not having that Infinity Edge done, it reduces a lot of her damage output. Kog'Maw, on the other hand, because of his W, he actually doesn't need you know, any quick damage items. A lot of times you can build the fast Phantom Dancer, and that's a pretty common build. Usually you'll see double Dorans and Wriggles into a Phantom Dancer, but just going through the Phantom Dancer, so he has the damage from his W already. All he wants to do is maximize his attack speed and his positioning. The rest of his team is already so strong that they can just control fights without his AD damage, and so they're actually really strong right now, despite the fact that Kog'Maw doesn't have any, you know, strong AD damage items. And, you know, we'll see how that affects the fights, but they're going to be able to hold off into late game pretty easily because the game is so even right now. And then Cog is just going to have so much damage once he does finish any items.
Did see Devo actually pick up an Oracle. Just go ahead, also go on War Duties. The Nation, I can do that too. Going to go ahead and clear as much as possible. But though Shen, he's had the oracles for quite a while.
I think
though.
that was the spiteful oracles.
I'm mad jelly of your oracles, man. I want one too. He's like, Mom, allowance. Actually, Morgana actually getting the bind through the wall.
Yeah, Nocturne throwing off the shield instinctively. You know, he wasn't going to block anything, but if Morgana had just like flashed over the wall or something, you know, with the ultimate, her flash is down.
Arrow.
But, oh wow! So actually,
onto Alex.
There's the quick damage.
The Cassiopeia ult just getting the slow, getting all the damage necessary. Doesn't matter if you're not turned to stone, not used. The slow will be more than enough. Was shielded, but you know, it's okay. Everyone was there. Nocturne comes in for a quick kill, and Dragon might actually be coming up in a second.
Yeah, and it will be up shortly. Actually, let me think. Yeah, it should be up shortly. It was a very late dragon, but that's the benefit of the Cassiopeia is your quick burst potential. And we kind of mentioned that earlier, how you have the Ash Arrow into it. Outs, it's just barely not able to get that shield on in time. So if he could have blocked that Ash Arrow, that'll be huge. And the big thing is, as the fights progress, who are we going to target with that Ash Arrow and that initiation? Because we're going to have the shield, it's going to be so easy to hit it from now on. Like, when you get the sneak attack shield, yeah, that's one thing. When you get the sneak attack arrow, but when we're organized for fights and ready for it, we're going to have the Morgana shield pretty easily. And then also the fact that if you're engaging on, like, Malphite or Shen, it's like, who cares? You're focusing down our tanks.
Yeah, I mean, it would not be too uncommon for Morgana to just go ahead, just stick right out in front, put on the shields, like, arrow me, come on, do it. But right now, I would imagine a prime target would actually be the Kog'Maw. He's going to be far back. He's going to be the safest one. But still, though, that's a skill shot among skill shots. If M5 goes ahead and travels as a pack correctly, protecting the Kog'Maw.
And actually, Nocturne scouting out around the Baron, he does have that Oracles, but with Cassiopeia, they have a pretty fast Baron team. Unfortunately, because Kog'Maw didn't go with the Wriggles, it's a little bit slower than it normally would. But we have Darien and we have Ashe, so it's a very fast clear speed for Baron. That's definitely an option for them, and they are grouping up right now
Alex
for this
is
dragon.
Trying to bait out something, it's like, hey, there's a ward, you might want to clear it. But they realize it's not the best option here. But Malphite getting a little bit out of position in the mid, straight out. All of Salad Supreme is there to take him out. And now M5, they're not in great shape, and this dragon is just way open for the taking. Salad Supreme was go ahead and snag it right up. Wards going down just to get a little bit more vision and try and bait Diamond Prox into taking that little piece of candy. But Alex, once again with the bind, does get juked by Morgana. Shield going up. There's the flash. There's the ult. Well, almost had everybody, but now reduced to just one. The ult will finish onto Ashe, but Dragon will be grabbed up by Salad Supreme. But Cassiopeia just standing still. Perfect shot for the artillery. No real big aim necessary to hit a stationary target. And I mean, it's
Shen actually burning his flash, trying to chase down that Nocturne, but that's the thing. They have great AoE. Now imagine if Darien was up and we had that fight that we just had, and have Morgana jumping into the middle of them very quickly. That is just so much damage potential and so much fight control for M5, and they are actually taking this tower off of this. So it's actually in M5's benefit. Even though we had Darien go down, and even though we had the Dragon going to Salad Supreme, M5 comes out ahead, and actually Shen coming down onto Janna here. She knows she's dead. She's turning around, and she's just kind of like focusing around. Actually, the flash.
Trying to juke around the taunt, but just with the flash, but just could not do it. And that is also an Oracle's loss. Janna had one too. So up until the mid turret went down, that swing of gold was actually in Salad Supreme's favor. But tower down, Oracle's lost. M5 actually, in the long run, gained so much more off of that fight. Ashe now getting caught. You knew they were in the area. You knew they were nearby. Unfortunate.
Yeah, a lot of times you want to go out and farm, and you're just like, oh yeah, they've probably left by now, minions. And then when you realize they haven't, you're like, oh, that sucks.
But, that's right, you're still here.
Yeah, we do see Darius chasing down Malphite in the top lane. He actually gets him extremely low. If we see the flash, we could have this kill. He doesn't have the flash, actually.
Doesn't have the
he did have the ignite, but I was kind of thinking if he just ulted, but I think he was just barely out of range.
He used ult already.
Oh, he did use ult. Okay.
He used ult already earlier on in the fight, so just was not able to connect with the rest of that damage. But it's still enough to deflect him, enough to push Darien back, enough to get him away from the minions, just to reduce a little bit of the farm. But still, though, right now things are looking actually pretty good for M5. They've got quite a bit of farm on their carries. Morgana and Kog'Maw ridiculously healthy. And Morgana ended up with about a 1k gold lead over the opposing mid. Kog'Maw up with about almost a 2k gold lead over his opposing bot laner. And then as soon as these team fights continue to break out again, the full fives, you're going to see Kog'Maw in the back just throwing off the artillery, and Morgana doing the ult. Malphite with the ult and keeping everybody busy.
Yeah, and it's not just that, but Cog is way ahead of Ashe right now, and so not only does Cog have the damage advantage, but having that Phantom Dancer along with the Infinity Edge, Ashe has the advantage as far as initiation and disable, but Cog's slow is still pretty nice, and the fact that Ashe's arrow is going to be so difficult to engage once M5 is coordinated and once they're grouped. So it's going to be extremely difficult. Like, even though they're only down by 4K gold, it's an uphill battle for sure for Salad Supreme. They could actually rush this Baron, and we do have Cog bottom. They see Cog as bottom. They are actually going to go for it. And
no
so with
vision on it,
Cassiopeia,
but Diamond puts the
but
ward.
Actually, before the ward even happened, the Nocturne Q going over the wall, so he saw that and then was able to drop the ward as well.
Very nice, actually being staying in place from the pop-up from Baron, and after the ward going in the pit, after Malphite attempted to come on down, they realize this is a bad spot. We don't want to go ahead and do this, but this now leaves an opportunity for M5 to go ahead and sneak it as well. There's a little bit of damage on Nocturne and on Darius, and Nocturne did have to back. They did not get the vision on that, but I imagine if M5 rushed it, they can just go ahead and get this convincingly on their own.
They don't want to rush a Baron. I mean, other than Kog'Maw, they have almost no Baron pressure, and we do have the Madreds onto Shen, which is nice, but it's not enough. We actually have Cassiopeia coming up, and actually all of them engaging on Darien here. We had Darius waiting in the bush, but actually the quick ultimate, but unfortunately the Fear does proc the Whirlwind as well, but he is actually not going down as fast as they would like. The Shen ult unfortunately cannot save him, and now M5 is surrounding them. They are not going to go in. We'll see if Alex Ish can actually hit a bind. If he does, then he might decide to flash over, but won't, and so we won't see a fight. His flash was actually down, but it is up now, and so even without Darien, they know that they're still pretty strong. They won the last fight without him.
Yep. So right now, M5's actually camping out the Salad Supreme jungle, trying to force something here, and just getting a little bit more vision. Very Nice is actually pretty weak after that last team fight. He's about half health, and Nocturne may actually get caught out. The ping going down onto Morgana as a Q, but shield, nice shield from Nocturne to protect the bind.
You saw him jumping in front of Cassiopeia, just like taking the bullet. Yeah, it's a really nice job there.
But Alex is actually still in the neighborhood, still trying to get the engage he wants. And Kog'Maw putting down more artillery shots to just go ahead and try and deflect Salad Supreme. Alex is hungry. Alex really wants the engage, but the rest of the team's a little bit further away now, so wisely he's going to go ahead and back off and actually go ahead and farm the wave mid top and go ahead and push that lane.
Yeah, and so they are backing off. They were kind of low, but the thing is they know that M5, they don't really have a lot of Baron pressure at this point. As it progresses, yes, they will. They could, try and bait out a fight, but really, Salad Supreme knows that there's not really a big threat of M5 taking Baron, so it's not really that big of a deal. If they do it, they're all going to be in that small little pit for Cassiopeia to just get all of her AoE right on top of them. The Ashe arrow, locking someone in that Baron pit where they're going to take Baron damage. Very quickly, it would be a lost fight for M5. But you saw with the last fight, even though Darien was caught out, he is so incredibly tanky at this point in time. Really, the only person who's dealing damage to him is Cassiopeia. I mean, Darius is getting some damage, but it's in really long fights. It's not fast enough to take him down. So Darien, despite dying twice in a row being caught out, he's almost unkillable with the Sunfire Cape and with the Frozen Heart. And so just having so much health, so much,
250 armor. 250 armor is ridiculous.
Again, because we have 3 physical damage dealers, 3 auto attack champions, Nocturne, Darius, and Ashe. When Malphite ults in a fight and then has his attack speed slow with his E and has the attack speed slow with his Frozen Heart, all of their damage is going to drop off so quickly that it's going to be difficult for them to combo champions like they need to.
Alex is in the brush. Just the bind on its own takes Janet half health, and there it is. There's the flash. There is the ult. Still got 3, 2, only just 1 member of Salad Supreme in that. The Cassiopeia ult actually focusing down the Malphite, but there is the ult onto the back line, and immediately all members of Salad Supreme are starting to drop. There goes the Nocturne as well, and the Ashe should follow. Very Nice is the only one remaining, but good, fantastic call from Alex for the flash, for the ult. And Malphite ult was only delaying the inevitable by ulting him. You get it, he's still there, he's on the back line, and despite Janna pushing everyone away, everyone from Salad Supreme was still in a nice clump on the back line, got everybody.
M5's teamfight control is way too dominant right now, and there's just not a whole lot that Salad Supreme can do, and this is like the impending doom the entire game. The fact that Kog'Maw is going to be so strong. We have the Zeke's Herald to go along with Kog'Maw. We have such tanky frontline champions, and having all that physical damage against Frozen Heart and the tanky champ lineup, it's just so difficult to get fights to go your way. And so very easily, M5 was able to take that last fight, just not able to die. We saw Diamond Prox at the end there with the taunt onto Darius, and then flashing out of the tower, actually, because he was low. Darius still had his ultimate up, so, he might have died, but really nice play by him, knowing exactly when to flash out of there, and there's the Baron for M5. Yep. They can just aggressively push down a tower now, and Kog'Maw is one of the best champions at pushing in the game. You have the range to poke down turrets very easily, so, they will be able to do that.
Yeah, Devo's a little bit too far out for comfort there, and right now, Cell Supreme, they just need to go ahead, they need to get back, they need to defend. This Baron buff can cause quite a bit of havoc, and also you cannot really engage an M5 if that Kog'Maw is still around. There's so much damage coming from him. There's no way to safely engage unless you get the Ash arrow on him, which is not bloody likely here.
And once they're grouped up, they're actually going to go back and buy, and then have the one push. Once they're grouped up and pushing, they can just run straight down mid lane. Cog can poke the tower from long range, and all Alex Itch needs to do is sit there and watch with his shield on Cog. And if anyone tries to engage on Cog, really quickly throw down the shield. If they try, and Cog has enough range that he's past the range of everyone in this game. He will be able to poke down the tower. If they try and engage on Cog, all we're going to have is the Malphite ultimate and the Morgana ultimate right to the face, and it's going to be over. Like, M5 will easily win those fights, and they know it. So we do see the Morgana going to be grabbing that blue. She can toss off those binds, try and pick people off, but for the most part, they can just have a really nice controlled push right down this mid lane and very easily take this mid turret inhibitor.
Even then, Diamond Prox, if he really wants to, just go ahead, pick top, pick bot. His ult is up. He can join the team fight whenever he wants. Shen is just an amazing champ.
So GA on Kog'Maw as well already knows that we have so much damage output. The only concern is if Kog'Maw gets bursted down. Well,
let's rectify that.
Crisis averted. It's done. Genja is going to be so strong and so tanky. They can just push right down this mid, and it's going to be so difficult for Cloud Supreme to defend this. Like, I see no way that they can defend it. Cass can clear creep waves very easily, but we're actually having a hard engage here. We have the slow, very nice, has to flash out of there, so they are able to get out of there, but they are low, and Genja and M5, they should be able to take this mid turret.
Yeah, if a member of M5 gets caught out in the jungle and manages to kill someone before Shen ults in, there's possibly a chance Cell Supreme could do something with that, but at this point, like I said before, it's not very likely, especially with GA is just one of those items you build when you're so far ahead. It secures your lead, it makes sure you don't die so quickly in team fights, it also deters people from focusing you as well. It's like, oh, if we kill him, just going to go ahead and die, but still Cell Supreme trying to get on this, and the arrow is shielded from the Morgana shield. They're trying to do what they can. Where is Shen? Is Shen going to be ulting anytime soon? Doesn't even really need to. Doctrine goes down.
He's like, you guys have this.
You guys got this. You don't need my help. You guys are good. And there, boom, the artillery shot from Kog'Maw will secure the Ash kill. Janna can't do anything about this.
It's armor, the armor buffs of Soraka and the Frozen Heart. They're just way too tanky for a physical damage team to take him down. And one of the nice things with the Malphite, not only do we have all that attack speed slow, but getting the Abyssal Scepter. So Kog'Maw deals that magic damage very easily. It's just amplifying that damage. And this is actually a game they're going to be able to push down this Nexus. And so M5 taking game number 1, despite some early advantages for Cloud Supreme. You had such a strong late game and such a strong all-around comp. They were very easily to win fights.
And that's it. Game number 1 going to M5. There's the Shen ult. We're looking for that. We needed that last team fight just so you can join the party. But hey, fed Kog'Maw, fed Morgana. That's just what happens. That's just straight out what happens.
Yeah, it's done. They're just so powerful. It really is difficult. The thing against Kog'Maw is you need to either be able to shut him down early or just destroy him in team fights. And they couldn't shut him down early. Team fights come. They didn't have the capabilities to shut him down there. We'll see if we see a Soraka ban or first pick or Morgana, because really the two of them were the most disruptive, the Morgana and the Soraka pick. And having Morgana and Soraka is really what makes the Kog comp. And it's just such a devastating comp to have against a physical damage team. And so really nice picks by M5. It was just such a strong team right from the get-go, and they played it to perfection. We'll see how Cloud Supreme can do coming into game number 2, though, because they had some nice aggression. They had some nice early advantages. We'll see if they can pursue that coming into game number 2.
And just to put the just for the sake of discussion, we'll put it out there because still new champs. You don't get to see them a whole lot in competitive play right when they come out. Opinion on Darius, real quick, how that went game 1, because early game
it's you're seeing all the difficulties with Darius, and you saw very quickly, Darius, when he's able to get an early advantage in the lane, he has a lot of killing potential in small team fights, and so that's where Darius thrives in those small team fight situations. He can do well against Malphite top. He enabled them to get some quick kills. The issue is, he's an auto attack champion. That's where most of his damage comes from. His Q is a nice little chunk, but it's not that much. His W, it does some damage, but it's mostly there for the slow. His E does no damage. And his ultimate, you can't use your ultimate unless you're, going to be getting a kill. I mean, you can use it to guarantee a kill and not necessarily need to get the, secure it and get the KS or whatever. But
kill secured.
You still, I mean, you're not going to see a fight where Darius just walks up and he's like, ult right off the bat. And so the thing is, you have to hold on to your ult, which means he really only has one strong damaging ability, his Q, and that makes him an auto attack champion. His passive is very strong, but he is an auto attack champion. And so when you have the potential to kite him with disables, and you have the attack speed slow from Frozen Heart and from Malphite and from all these champions.
And the heals.
The armor buff, very quickly, he's just an auto attack champion that doesn't do enough damage, and so in the fights, it was just a struggle against the team that M5 had.
Yeah, and that's just what M5 does. Sometimes you get farm your windows to just dominant play coming here for game 1 for M5. But you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and go to a quick commercial break, and we will be back in just a few moments. M5 and Solid Supreme game number 2. See you in a second.